Battlefield 6 is not the game I was hoping for. Now, this doesn't mean it is bad, just allow me to explain before smacking that dislike button and telling me to do an underwater breathing challenge. So, let me first quickly explain where I am coming from. My first ever Battlefield game was Battlefield Bad Company, the original one, and since then I've grinded Battlefield Bad Company 2, Battlefield Play for Free, Battlefield 3, Battlefield 4, and Battlefield 1. I didn't really play Battlefield 5 for 2042. So when I heard that Battlefield 6 was returning to its roots, I was pretty excited. I was really hoping for a game closer to Battlefield 3, to be honest. Unfortunately, if that is also what you're expecting, then you are going to be disappointed, because this game is way closer to the movement of the newer Battlefields, which has been getting increasingly faster and faster paced. The older Battlefield games felt a little clunky, but in a good way. The movement was significantly slower and the pace of the game was too. This does not mean Battlefield 6 is bad, it's just different. And while we are returning to the modern setting, the gameplay itself is simply not a return to its roots, so don't expect that. And yes, I know this is a beta and things are up for change, but I highly doubt that the entire pace and movement system is gonna get a complete revamp before the release. With that being said, I do find the game very fun. The fast movement is growing on me, and I see potential in this game being a very good and solid title. However, there are most definitely things that need some work, as well as things that I feel like are just missed opportunities that could easily be changed before launch. So I'm going to spend the rest of the video going over some of those things. Number 1, kill indicators. Remember Battlefield 3's kill indicators? Something about that blue text popping up and everything about it was just so satisfying, and while I wouldn't go as far to say that Battlefield 6's kill indicators are not satisfying, they could have had so much more panache, pizzazz, a little more flair to them, you know? I also kind of wish there was ribbons and medals popped up on the screen like before in the old Battlefields. Number 2, scope glint. Why the hell are the glares from the sniper scopes so bright? I feel like I'm a pilot trying to land in a mirror factory. Did no one playtesting this game say, maybe we shouldn't have scope glint that looks like the climax of Oppenheimer? So anyways, that could easily be changed too, right? But it's so bright that most of the time I can't even see the head of the sniper I'm trying to shoot at. Number 3, closed classes. Breakthrough for now is my favorite game mode, and they don't have a closed class option. What this means is that any class can use any gun. I don't know if this will change for the full release, but why in the world is the default option open classes? The entire point of Battlefield games was the distinct classes with each with their own little pros and cons, right? Little trade-offs here and there. And yeah, while some weapons were universal throughout the classes, the staple ones weren't. That's like making Counter-Strike 3, but the CT&T gun, they all have the same guns. You're ruining a staple element of the game, man. You're ruining a staple element, man. And also, if you make all the guns available for all the classes, then all the classes just start to feel the same. So, kind of wish that the default option was closed classes, with the option for anybody that wants to play open classes. Number 4, recoil, or lack of. The guns right now have 0 recoil, and while I'm not saying to increase the recoil to the point where it feels like your gun is trying to give you back shots, the recoil shouldn't also be the equivalent of a laser tag fight. In fact, one of the staple mechanics of a Battlefield game was the fact that you have to tap fire in bursts at the distance. Yes, I know other games do that too, right? But if we're coming from Call of Duty, that's like a nice little change of pace, you know? And right now you can just laser beam anyone on full auto as long as your weapon is actually capable of reaching that far. So again, I just hope they change the recoil to make it a little bit more like a mechanic space. I don't know if that makes sense. Number 5, sound cues. No, I'm not saying to make the characters sound like they're sprinting around with a dinner bell wrapped around their ankles, but there are certain sound cues that could really be added to indicate to other players around you about your status. For example, when you get down in this game, there is almost no cue for your teammates. So sometimes when you die right next to a medic, they have no idea you died right next to them. And sure, sometimes it's because the medic doesn't care enough to revive you, but I notice this happening when I'm in game with my friends and my twin brother, and he does not hate me like that, I hope. Just add louder and more frequent death lines and voices, such as he fucked me, or I can't feel my legs, or bah! It's something like that, right? Anything to indicate to your teammates that you need help. Number 6, UI. Maybe this is just me, but why is the UI so inconvenient to navigate? To change your attachments, you gotta click on your class and your guns on a separate menus. You gotta select the guns, and then you gotta customize, and that's another menu, and then you click an attachment, that's another menu. Why do I have to go through 3 menus and live like a chocolate factory? You quit my fucking attachments. Also, at least for now, you can't edit your classes at the end of the game while waiting for for the next game to start. At least I don't think you can, unless I'm just blind and I can't find that feature. Also, I feel like the UI is trying to be more cinematic than functional. Just give us at least, this is again, all this is just my opinion, right? But just give me a server browser, options, loadouts and whatever other main menu staples are needed. I don't need like a freaking pre-movie cinematic trailer flashing the background and each option is like a big freaking square. I don't know why games want their menu to be cinematic over functional. When I launch a video game, I'm not trying to sit in the menu and stare at little clips in the background, alright? Just make the menu easy and functional and add a server browser. Look, I am rooting for this game. I am a long-time Battlefield fan. At the end of the day, this is just my opinion. And I keep saying that because I know I'm gonna get comments and be like, oh my god, you can't say that. Or anyways, I might as well give honest feedback so that the game can hopefully be improved. And do not add a ranked mode, for the love of God, alright? Not every game needs to be a sweat fest, and this is coming from a person who does enjoy competitive games like Counter-Strike and Valorant. It is nice to have a game where you can just chill out, do some grinding with some basic team play elements without feeling like you're going against players in the big leagues. There is a lot more I want to say, but this is a first impressions video, so when I review the game, I will be more thorough in my analysis, but I am just also curious for now to see how this game turns out upon release. So, thank you for watching, like and sub if you want to, and I have a Squad 44 video coming out this Friday. Have a wonderful day, and bye!